It's been a long day. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now and the National Hockey Now YouTube page. I don't think I've ever had the Pittsburgh Penguins media room to myself to do a video like this. So we're doing the 5-minute Penguins postgame after they slay the Dragon. They beat the not the Ottawa Senators. That's a couple days from now. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 here at PPG Paints Arena. And the boys are, the crew is tearing down the ice rink, so we're going to do this in here tonight. I don't think it can be overstated how important this win was for the Penguins. They're now just 5 points behind Carolina with 2 games in hand. That helps. If you look at the flip side, what happens if they lose in regulation? The Penguins take a big penalty late in regulation with under 6 minutes to go. The penalty kill tasked with maybe the kill of the season. Here's what happens if the Penguins lose on Thursday in regulation. They trail the Carolina Hurricanes by 8 points. They would trail the Washington Capitals, who beat Columbus, I think in overtime, by 7 points. That's a country mile with 4 teams in between them. Between the Penguins and Carolina and Washington. That's a mass of bodies that really starts to look insurmountable, starts to feel insurmountable. All of those sorts of things begin to come into play if the Penguins don't win that shootout, or at least don't get that single point that they got on Thursday. But they do win the shootout 2-1. Let's kind of break down the grades and the game. First of all, Alex Nedeljkovic played very well. He's starting to push Tristan Jarry for playing time. He started 3 of the last 4 games. The first of those was, a back-to-back where the backup goalie plays, but he played pretty well. Jarry did not play so well against Toronto in that epic meltdown on Hockey Night in Canada last Saturday. So Nedeljkovic has got the last couple of starts. Penguins wins. Now it'll be curious to see what Coach Mike Sullivan does Saturday in Ottawa. And if Nedeljkovic starts in Ottawa and wins, do you come back with him again against the New York Islanders post-Christmas break? I know, it's a little bit fun to ponder. I don't think Coach Mike Sullivan will do that just yet, but we'll put a pin in that because I think it is interesting. It's not that Jarry has played poorly whatsoever. It's that Nedeljkovic is starting to heat up here, starting to really come into his own with the Penguins. 2, structurally, tactically. Sullivan talked about having patience playing within the game on Wednesday. That's what he said, what they had to do against Carolina. And they had done that in the previous 5 games, but always sort of got impatient in the third period, either wearing down or getting impatient or trying too hard to win the game. They, of course, lost the games. That didn't happen on Thursday. They stayed within themselves. They stayed patient. Even in overtime. Business finally picked up in overtime. Listen, bear in mind, it took 50 minutes, just about 50 minutes, for both teams to hit the 20-shot mark. This was the definition, the embodiment of a low-event game. This is the kind of game that the Penguins almost always sort of implode with something stupid. They didn't do that. They went all the way to the shootout. Penguins hit a couple of posts. Carolina hit a post or 2. And eventually Sidney Crosby, who scored just a beautiful goal in regulation in the first period, gets the only goal in the shootout. There are a couple of performances I think went under the radar. Well, first of all, things under the radar. Let's talk about the Penguins' power play. Well, that was pretty brutal, actually, in regulation. But they drew 4 power plays in regulation. They did that by being hard on the puck, by being tenacious, by trying to take the play to Carolina, forcing Carolina to react. If there's a little bit of, if there's a place to take some optimism moving forward, it was that the Penguins were able to do that to Carolina. I liked Jansen Harkin's game. Yeah, fourth liner didn't really impact, but boy, he had a good third period. He went after the puck and he took it to the net a couple of times, almost scored on each, just a little hair away from being the hero once again. But the shootout didn't go 12 rounds, so the Penguins didn't need Harkins in the shootout. I like what he's bringing. He changed his game from the guy trying to be a scoring winger that he was in the first four, or he's trying to be a scoring winger in the first 4 games of the season. Now he's really just playing just blood and guts, grit sort of winger, using his speed and tenacity, I think, to his benefit. Another game I liked a lot, you just sort of notice Valtteri Puustinen. He didn't have the big impact against Carolina. That's not really his type of game. But he still just makes those little plays, keeps it moving. And he allows Evgeny Malkin to play with the puck more. He really does. So I liked Puustinen's game. Of course, Sidney Crosby. How do you not like Crosby's game? And, under the radar, like I said, the Penguins' third pairing was as steady and as stable as it has been. It's been a bit of a revolving door with Ryan Shea, who kind of, really began, I don't want to say unravel, but had become inconsistent over, a handful of games. He's down in Wilkes-Barre. P.O. Joseph, again, the roller coaster. The Penguins really want to see more consistency, more from P.O. He's back in the press box as well. John Ludwig and Chad Ruhwedel, just steady. Putting Ludwig on his left side allows him to move the puck a little quicker. They're still playing a little bit of sheltered minutes. I mean, you're not going to take minutes away from Erik Karlsson and Chris Letang. But they have solidified that third pairing, I think. I don't think either of those guys are going to dip as the previous tenets of the pairing did. So Nedeljkovic's arrow is pointing way up. The Penguins have to feel really good about beating Carolina. It doesn't matter on home ice or away ice, because now they're 5 points back of Carolina. Is it 5 or 6 of Washington as well, but within striking distance. And that's really all the Penguins can ask after that abysmal month-long stretch that they went through. Who knows where this goes? We wrote on Pittsburgh Hockey Now Thursday morning, the next 3 games could make or break the Penguins. By beating Carolina, I don't think the next 2 games can break them. Can't make them, but they're at least in the hunt. They win 1 of 2. They're just fine going forward. So, from the PPG Paints Arena Media Room, I'm Dan Kingerski here on Pittsburgh Hockey Now and the National Hockey Now YouTube page. Oh, by the way, like and subscribe, please, please. All right. Thanks, kids. And if I don't talk to you again, Merry Christmas.